sometimes a company has a candidate internally who is kind of has the inside track. And that raises a question. I mean, a lot of people have experienced, I know I did at one point, your application gets ignored. So that might be one reason. Can you think of any other reasons when an application gets ignored?
Well, it's so funny because I just taped a video on Monday with an employer that I have that's so good at hiring for here. They hire for your passion and your heart, and it isn't just about paper. But I would say 75% of hiring managers, officials, hire from paper. And if your paper isn't right, or you've had too many jobs. So our knockout, quite frankly, of all of our employees is 3 jobs in 10 years. So if you've had more than 3 jobs in 10 years, that right there is problematic, just getting out of the gate. Um, Progression. Have you been promoted within your career? All of these things are all factors. And most resumes, and this is from years and years ago. I mean, I've done this so long. Years and years ago, how we were taught to write a resume is tell us what you did. And that's really not the right way to write a resume. It should be here's my job and here's my win. Like here's how I won the day, the week, the month, and the year. Because if people read something that's intriguing to them, they're more apt to pull it to the top of the pile. So I always say that first bullet underneath, so Employment Resource Group, President, CEO, my first bullet would not be as President, CEO, this is what my day looks like. Nobody gives a rip, right? It has to be, we've grown the company by X% in this time frame, and here's how we did it. So it's those wins that if you can, and people only read the first bullet of your resume, like the first bullet on your job. If it's not like amazing and intriguing, they don't read the rest of it. I have done this 30 years, and I can tell you that's how I read a resume. I,
Hmm.
I don't have time to read everybody's full resume. I mean, I'd be sitting here till 9 o'clock at night just reading resumes, right? So when I read a resume, I read the first bullet of each of their jobs. If it's intriguing, I'll go back and read more. If it's not, it's a set aside because it's likely not going to be the one that my clients are going to get excited about either. So that first bullet, really think about how did I win the day, the month, the year, and then put that on there.
What other things about the resume would make a recruiter or have made you go, oh no? I mean, no
Well,
matter how
too many
qualified
words,
someone, right? There,
too many words. I mean, some of the resumes I see, oh my gosh, they're just like, and there's no way I'm going to read this. Like I get dizzy just looking at it. There are some high level resume services that all the resumes look the same. Real estate tends to use the same one, and every real estate developer resume looks exactly the same. People don't even look at them anymore because they know that this resume service put it together and they love big adjectives and I'm a strategic advisor and sometimes I think being more real, like what are you really good at? And having it be really real is so much more important than the big adjectives that some of these resume services will tell you to use. So for me, when I look at a resume or I coach somebody on putting their resume together, I'll say, tell me how you like to communicate. Tell me what's so for me, like for example, if I was writing a resume, I would say 2 things. I have 2 things that are really important in my life. One is courage. I want to have the courage to like literally be willing to try things, even if I'm not an expert at it or I don't necessarily know exactly how to do it. I want to be courageous enough to try it. The other one is loyalty. I'm loyal to a fault. Like I will lay on a sword for somebody who's loyal to me. Break my loyalty, and now we have an issue. So for me, if I was writing a resume, I would say the things that are most important to me in my next employer would be somebody who will allow me to be courageous enough to try things, even if I'm not an expert, and that will know that if they're loyal to me, I will give everything I have to that employer. Those are 2 values that if I find those in my employer, I know that my career will go well. If
hmm.
I don't, I know it'll be a misalignment and I'll end up leaving that job looking for another thing because it's the age old, I just don't fit. And when I ask people, why don't you fit? A lot of times they don't really know the answer to that, but I can typically figure out that it's somewhere there's that value misalignment that they can't put their finger on it, but they know it exists.
In your example, I'm hearing that at times, maybe a lot of us play it really safe in the resume. Like we fall back on certain words. Strategic advisor sounds pretty safe, and it also sounds pretty inflated. Are there other things that you notice and just skip over immediately because it just looks like more noise and signal?
Well, so and again, I'm just old school, but I will tell you, I hate resumes that have pictures on them.
Mm.
If you think we don't live in a biased society on how people look, you're wrong, because we do. And I always tell people your gift doesn't have to be beautiful, but being kept, being presenting yourself well, altering your clothes. I mean, all those dress for success things that we learned early on as young professionals, they do matter. So why bias somebody right out of the gate by saying, well, I just don't know as a pharmaceutical rep if she would be pretty enough. I mean, I want to hire somebody who's smart. You want to hire somebody who you believe will be in it to win it. They'll be in the grind, all of those things. So we can tend to automatically build our own biases just based on different things that we do on resumes. The other thing is, and again, the more creatives tend to do this, but my CMOs, right, my chief marketing officers, I really don't need you to put every logo and every, you know, all the things on your resume because they always say, well, it makes my resume stand out. It's just noise. It's just noise. The
Yeah.
less noise, the better for a busy executive.